Hi, this is Shannon. This is Cycle 1, Week 18, Tutor and Memory Work Ideas. I'm excited to share with you some fun ideas to use in your homeschool group this week and also at home. And make sure you stick around to the end of my video because I have some more fun memory work activities and games you can use with your kids throughout the week to just continue practicing that memory work for all the subjects. If you are new to my channel, I am a homeschooling mom of 3 little ones, 5, 3, and 1, and we do classical homeschooling and love it. And I have the privilege of tutoring the obesitarians this year, so that's the 4 through 6-year-olds, the little guys, and I absolutely love them. It's so fun. So these ideas are for them in mind, but you can definitely use these ideas with older kids and adjust some of them if you need to too. Also, I'm excited to share with you, I'll talk about this at the end of the video too, but I just made this African countries workbook that you can use with your kids. My kids are really enjoying it so far. There's a page for each African country, so all 54 countries plus Western Sahara. So I'll show you the first couple of pages. Algeria, Tunisia, so you can see my daughter's colored the country, the animal, there's the flag, a fun fact for each country, popular dish. So just a fun way to continue learning about Africa this cycle. I will link below where you can find this book if you are interested in using it with your kids too. We are going to start with English this week like I normally do. So I have my notebook filled out here. I use these preschool line paper notebooks and I write the helping verbs out for the kids each week. I've done this since we started this semester, actually since we started this year. If you've watched my other videos, you've seen this. I like to customize it to the level of the kids. So for my kids, I'm writing the first one, should. I'm writing the second one in dots so they can trace, could. And then the last one, would, I'm going to let them write. Now you can also customize this to each individual kid too. So if you have some older kids that maybe can write more on their own, you could leave more blank. If you have more younger kids, you could write more for them. Lots of ways you can customize it, which is one of the reasons I like it. I like them to get some writing practice. It's really quick to do, so it's not like they're sitting there writing forever. It doesn't take much time, and it's just a great intro. So I decorate these books with the name of each student and a biology design. This is not an actual name of a kid in my class, it's just an example, but you can find this design if you want in my blog post with these ideas, so I'll link that below. So again, this week we're doing should, could, and would. So I'm going to give the kids a chance to write them. And as they're doing that, I'm going to start singing our helping verb song again to the tune This Old Man. It starts with the definition of the helping verb, and then we've added on some helping verbs each week, and we're going to continue to add on this week. So I'm just going to start singing that tune, walking around, helping them finish writing. When they finish writing, I'm going to have them close their books, put them on the table, and then stand up. And I'm going to show them the new hand motions for today. And then we're going to try the whole song that we've learned so far with our hand motions as well. So the hand motions for today, should, we're going to put our finger on our head like this, should. Could, we're going to cup our hands like this. And then would, we're going to put our hand over our heart. So should, could, would. So first I'm going to sing the whole song for you, starting at the definition through the end of the helping verbs. And then I'll sing it again with the hand motions. So you can hear the tune. I might have to go a little bit slower with the hand motions. So here we go. Helping verbs, help another verb assert, action, being, or existence. Helping verbs make lots of sense. Helping verbs, do, does, did, has, have, had, may, must, might, should, could, would, shall, will, can. Helping verbs, they lend a hand. So again, that's to the tune This Old Man. So now I'll do it with the hand motions. I'm just going to do a little bit slower. So here we go. Helping verbs, help another verb assert, action, being, or existence. Helping verbs make lots of sense. Helping verbs, do, does, did, has, have, had, may, must, might, should, could, would, shall, will, can, and we'll do those next week. Helping verbs, they lend a hand. So we will do that together a few times. Obviously, you'll need to sing it slower to bring in the hand motions, and each week, the previous week's hand motions will get a little bit easier. I also like to review the preposition song we did first semester with the kids and the motions for all the prepositions. So we will run through that one time as well, and I'll link my video below if you want to see my slowed down version of the whole entire preposition song with the hand motions. The kids loved this last semester, and we will probably perform this for the parents at the end of the year. And so it's just really quick to run through and really fun. So we will do that. And then I like to give the kids a sticker to put on their books each week before we finish English. Then I collect these back and I will give them to the kids to take home at the end of the year, but I take them back so I can prep them for the next week. That is English this week. For timeline this week, I have my timeline cards with my dollar store letters on the top of them. So I just put the first letter of each word on the top of the card since I have the younger kids and they can't read yet, or a lot of them can't read yet. So I'm going to have these hidden around the room before our class time begins, and I'm going to have 7 pieces of painter's tape up on the wall. And so when we're ready to do timeline, I'm going to have the kids go find a card and bring it back to their seat. Once they've found all the cards, then we will go over the cards in order, and I will have them put the cards up on the wall on the painter's tape. So I will say, okay, our first card this week is Cherokee Trail of Tears. Cherokee, what does that start with? Ooh, C-H. Who has a card that has a C on it? Perfect, so go put that on the first piece of painter's tape. And once we have cards on all 7 pieces of painter's tape up on the wall, I will go over the hand motions with the kids. Now this time I'm going to have the kids stay seated in their chairs so they can see the cards really clearly as we do the hand motions together. So for this week, the hand motions are Cherokee. So we're going to start at our mouth and go to our ear. Cherokee Trail of Tears. So with 4 fingers, we're going to go down like that for tears. So Cherokee Trail of Tears. U.S. Westward Expansion. So we're going to do a W and go across. U.S. Westward Expansion. Marx, so I'm going to go like punch the air. Marx publishes the Communist Manifesto. So I'm going to write on my hand. Marx publishes the Communist Manifesto. And then Compromise of 1850. And the Dred Scott Decision. U.S. restores trade. So I'm going to act like I'm trading with Japan. Like that. And then British Queen Victoria, I'm going to shake my own hand. British Queen Victoria. And then I'm going to make little hooks with my fingers and go like that. Rule over India. I'm going to point to my head. And then Darwin publishes The Origin of Species. So I'm going to have my fingers like this. And then put my finger in there and twist it. So I'm making a D and then twisting. Darwin publishes The Origin of Species. So I'm going to go over the motions with the kids. Then I'm going to tell the kids, okay, I want everybody to close their eyes, and I'm going to turn one of the cards on the wall over. But I'm not going to tell you which one it is. I'm going to turn one of them over, just one of them. The other ones are going to be facing out. And then I'll have the kids open their eyes and see if they can guess which one was turned over. And then if there's a kid who clearly guessed first, then I'll let them choose which one can be turned over next. And I'm going to keep this one turned over. So now there will be 2 turned over on the wall. Then the next kid who tries to guess will try to say both of the cards that are turned over. And then I'll have whoever got that one can turn over another one. And I'll try to make it so every kid gets a chance to turn over a card. But by the end, all the cards will be turned over. And we'll try to see if we can remember all of them in order. And we'll try to kind of sing this week's timeline song tune as well. All right, I'll try to sing it and do the hand motions to the tune so you can hear. So it goes. Cherokee Trail of Tears, U.S. westward expansion. Marx publishes the Communist Manifesto, the Compromise of 1850, and the Dred Scott Decision. U.S. restores trade with Japan. British Queen Victoria's rule over India. Darwin publishes The Origin of Species. So we'll sing that together a few times with the motions, and that is timeline this week. For geography this week, we are doing Mesoamerica regions, and I did my map a little bit different this week than I've done in the past. Usually I use these trivium table maps, and I was experimenting with it, but you can see the area that we're looking at this week is just really small. And what I thought the kids could do, it'd just be too small for that. So you could definitely still use this and do things a little bit differently. But I'm going to show them this and make sure they understand that we're just going to look at a zoomed in version of what's in this little box here. So I will link this map. If you want to use it, you can just print it out and put it in these little pockets if you have something like this. Or you could just give them paper maps and they could use markers and they could take them home. So I could see advantages both ways. Here we have our regions. What I'm going to do before class is have them outlined. I'm not going to have these little symbols written in. This is what the kids are going to do. So for Gulf of Mexico, I'm just going to have one little wave symbol in there, but just one. And then for Aztec civilization, I'm going to outline that in purple here, Olmec civilization in orange, and Maya civilization in green. I'm going to outline them. And then I'm going to write an arrow for Yucatan Peninsula. So that's what will be on their maps at the beginning. And then I'm going to tell them that as we point to each one and go over each one, I'm going to have them write a different symbol that represents that one. So for the first one, Gulf of Mexico, I'm going to tell them to write a few more waves that kind of mimic mine, or if they want to draw them a little different, that's great. For Aztec civilization, I'm going to have them draw little triangles because they were known for their pyramids that looked like triangles. For Olmec civilization, I'm going to have them draw an O, or they can draw several O's if they can fit them in. For Maya civilization, I'm going to have them try to draw a leveled pyramid. You could draw one on the board just to kind of show them what you're talking about and have them draw one or several. And then they can just outline your arrow pointing to the Yucatan Peninsula. Once they've worked on that for a little bit, you can teach them the song to the tune of Farmer in the Dell. It goes like this. Mesoamerica region, Gulf of Mexico, Yucatan Peninsula, Olmec civilization, Maya civilization, and Aztec civilization. These are the Mesoamerica regions. So you can sing that with them a few times, and then what I think is fun is you can ask them, okay, what region was the one with the little triangles in it again? Do you remember what that one was called? Oh, the Aztec civilization. Okay, let's erase one of our triangles, or you could have them erase all their triangles. All right, now who can tell me what region was our leveled pyramid in? Oh, the Maya civilization. Good, let's erase those. And you can go through all of them and have them erase them. And then you could go through again and have them erase a little bit more. So after we erase the symbol, say we erase the O2 after we go over Olmec, then you could say, okay, so what was this pink arrow pointing to again? Oh, that's right, the Yucatan Peninsula. Okay, let's erase that arrow. What was the orange civilization? Do you guys remember what that was called? Olmec civilization. All right, let's erase that outline. So then you can go through all of them and just have them erase completely. That's kind of one reason I like the dry erase, but you definitely don't have to do that part too. You can just ask them questions about what civilization each symbol represents, just to review. So that is geography. So bear with me if you've heard me talk about this before, but you see my Africa map back here. My kids have really enjoyed snapping the countries on and off, so they have little snaps on the back of each one and just learning where they go and what they're called. So if you would like to make a map like this, we have one for the United States that we used last year and for Africa, and it just works really great. It's just really fun, very durable. And so I have all the patterns to all the countries in my Etsy shop, as well as a video of how I made it. So if you're interested, I will link that below in my description. Let me know if you have any questions about it. Also, I know I mentioned this before, but I'll mention it one more time really quick. I made this African countries book that has a page for each of the 54 countries plus Western Sahara. So this is one of the countries my daughter already worked on, Tunisia. Talks about an animal that's really popular there, the flag, a fun fact, a popular dish, where the capital is, etc., where it is in the continent, and there's a page for each country. So here is a page that she hasn't done yet, just so you can see a blank page. And then at the end, there are all the flags, so your kids can reference them. I also have maps of Africa that you might have already downloaded from me because I've already talked about these, but maps of Africa labeled and blank in here as well. So I will link this below if you're interested too. This is in my Etsy shop. These are just a couple ways that we're really enjoying practicing and learning geography at home. For math this week, we are doing area of a triangle. We are going to continue singing our geometry song, which I'll sing for you in a minute, but I'm going to do a similar thing that I've done the past couple weeks. I'm going to bring painter's tape in and make two really big triangles on the floor with painter's tape. Our group goes out into the hallway of the space where we meet for this, just to have a little bit more room. And I make two triangles just because I have a big group, but you might only need one. You just want it big enough so the kids can stand along the edge and just walk around the triangle, jump from the inside to the outside without hitting each other. So I'll make the triangles obviously before we start our class time. And when we're ready to start math, first I'll show them the triangle area formula on my tutor board and just explain it really simply. And then I will have them come out and stand along the edge of a triangle. So I'll tell them we're going to sing our whole geometry song again, but think about when you hear area of a triangle, because that's what we're focusing on today. Because we'll have sung the whole song the last couple weeks. I like to just sing the whole song every week so they really get it down. So they'll have heard the area of a triangle part already, but we're just emphasizing that today. So first I'm going to have them walk along the edge of the triangle only on the painter's tape, and I'll emphasize to them, make sure you stay on the painter's tape and don't step outside into the lava. The geometry song goes like this again. Geometry, geometry, let's learn some geometry. The area of a rectangle equals length times width. The area of a square equals length of the side squared, s squared. Area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. The area of a circle equals pi times the radius squared. The circumference of a circle equals 2 times pi times the radius. Geometry, geometry, let's learn some geometry. So we'll sing that through. Once we're done, I'll have them stop. Then next, I will have them tiptoe along the edge of the triangle, and we'll sing it again. After that, I'll have them jump on one foot along the edge of the triangle. Then you could have them jump on the other foot along the edge of the triangle. Then you could have them jump from outside the triangle to the inside of the triangle, and then back out, and to the end, back out. You could have them do lots of different things around that triangle as you sing the song. That is math this week. For history this week, we are learning about the mound builders. And I am going to do silly words again. I love doing this with my kids. They love it too. So this means that I will first sing the history sentence normally and tell them to listen really, really carefully to me, because in a minute I'm going to throw some silly words in and they have to raise their hand if they hear a silly word. Normally the song goes like this. Circa 1000 BC to AD 1450, 3 North American mound building civilizations were the Adena, the Hopewell, and the Mississippians. So now I'll say, okay, now that you've heard it normally, I'm going to throw some silly words in and raise your hand if you hear a silly word. Circa 1000 BC to Abbey 1450. Abbey? No, it's not Abby. Oh, what should it be? Oh, AD, not Abby. Sorry. Okay, so then once I do one silly word, I go back to the beginning and do it normally until I do the next silly word. Circa 1000 BC to AD 1450, 3 froth American. Froth? Not froth. What should it be? Oh, North Americans. Okay, so then again, I go to the beginning and do it correctly until the next silly word. It's one of the reasons I like this for history because it just allows them to hear the correct way a lot. So the silly words I did this week were Abbey for AD, froth for North, sound for mound, stations for civilizations, arena for Adena, telltale for Hopewell, and Egyptians for Mississippians. After we've done the silly words, I am going to give the kids these little mini guitars. Again, they're just really fun. They strum. I got them at the dollar store, and my kids are really liking them, so I'm just going to use them a lot since I have them. But I would encourage you to look at your dollar store for them because they're really great if your dollar store has them. So you could also order them if you wanted to. So we'll sing the history sentence normally a few times while strumming our guitars. That's history this week. For Latin this week, we are doing the second declension noun endings. We did these last week as well. This week, I have some feathers. And what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of come sit on the floor in a circle. And we're going to start singing the song. And I will have a student volunteer maybe stand on a chair and hold a feather as high up as they can. And then when we start singing, I'll tell them to drop the feather. And we'll try to sing the noun endings just for singular or just for plural and see if we can beat the feather before it hits the ground. So, for example, I would have a kid stand up and drop the feather and we would start singing oos-e-o, o, oos-e-o, o, oos-e-o, o, singular second declension, and hopefully we're done before the feather hits, or maybe the feather beat us that time. And then I'll have another kid go and try, and if, maybe the feather beat us last time, so I'll tell this kid, hey, can you try to throw the feather up in the air maybe? So, you can change it up. And this time we'll do plural. So I'll have them throw it and we'll start E orum is os is, E orum is os is, E orum is os is, plural second declension. And then we'll see if the feather beat us or not. You can give each kid a try. Again, I would just do singular at a time, see if we beat the feather or not, and then plural, see if we beat the feather or not. If you have a really high place or a feather that's really slow, you could potentially do both of them. So just a fun way to spice up Latin a little bit. Also, I got these feathers from Amazon. I'll link below if you're curious, but I'm gonna give each kid a feather to take home since I have a bunch of them. Also, I'll sing the tune a little bit slower so you can hear it in case you're not super familiar with it. This is a CC tune, so it is on their CD. It goes like this. Oos-e-o, o, oos-e-o, o, oos-e-o, o, singular second declension, E orum is os is, E orum is os is, E orum is os is, plural second declension. You could also use silly voices with the feathers or just as a separate idea. So I have these silly voice cards. If you've watched my videos, you've heard me say this. If not, you can download these free from my blog and I'll link below. But for example, opera style, mouth closed, whisper. So you could give each kid a silly voice card and then rotate just singing the Latin in the different silly voices. You could do this as the feathers falling too, just to spice it up. Or again, if you don't want to deal with the feathers, you could just do the silly voices. Silly voices never get old in my experience. The kids always love them. So can't go wrong with that. And I made these silly voice sticks too. If you don't want to download the cards, I just wrote on popsicle sticks, for example, mouth closed. We've got loud to soft, got closed eyes. These are getting pretty old, you can tell. But on my blog, I have a picture of all the voices I wrote down. If you want to see, I'll link that below. So that is Latin this week. For science, we are doing what are some parts of the ocean floor? And I'm going to do this similarly to how I did geosphere, if you remember that. So before our class time starts, I am going to lay out 4 long pieces of painter's tape on the floor, long enough so that all the kids in my group can stand along each piece. So you can see in my diagram here what I'm talking about. Each line of painter's tape will represent a different part of the ocean floor. So the first one will be continental shelf, the second one will be abyssal plain, and then mid-ocean ridge, and then the last one will be trench. So when we're ready to start science, I will show the kids on my tutor board a little picture that I've drawn that shows the different parts of the ocean floor. Just quickly show them each one, and then we'll go out to the hallway of where we meet, where there's more room, and I'll have them all line up on the first line of painter's tape, and I will have them hold hands so they're jumping at the same time, and I'm going to tell them, okay, first of all, we're standing on the continental shelf, so our feet are just under the ocean water. And then we're going to jump a little bit deeper into the ocean in just a second, not yet, but we're going to jump deeper into the ocean to the abyssal plain in a second when we hear that term. Then we're going to jump to mid-ocean ridge, and then we're going to fall into the trench. And we can act like we're falling when we get to the last line. So then I'm going to teach them a song to the tune "The Wheels on the Bus." And first, I'm going to have them just stay on the continental shelf and sing the song with me. And then after we have sung it 1 or 2 times, whatever you want to do, then I'll have them try to jump to the next line when they hear abyssal plain, and then jump again when they hear mid-ocean ridge, and then fall when they hear trench. So the song goes like this. What are some parts of the ocean floor? Continental shelf, abyssal plain, mid-ocean ridge, and trench. These are some parts of the ocean floor. So you might need to slow it down a little bit to give them enough time to jump at least at first, and you could get faster. So again, they'll start on continental shelf, and we'll talk about how they're on the continental shelf and their feet are getting wet because their feet are under the water. And then we'll start singing, and when they hear abyssal plain, they're going to jump to the next one. When they hear mid-ocean ridge, they're going to jump to the next line. And then when they hear trench, they're going to jump to the last line and fall, act like they're falling. So again, it goes like this. What are some parts of the ocean floor? Continental shelf, abyssal plain, mid-ocean ridge, and trench. These are some parts of the ocean floor. You could have them do this several times. You could have them try jumping on one foot and then do it jumping on the other foot. You could have them try it backwards. So that is science this week. All right, for review this week, I am going to use these spot markers and this dry erase dice. So I'm going to put these spot markers in a circle in the hallway where we meet, just so we have a little bit more space. And I just want the number of spot markers to match the number of kids in my group. And what I'm going to do in my dry erase die is write the color of a spot marker on each side. So we've got blue, orange, red, green, purple, and I have a yellow one, I think I left on the floor. But so each side has a color. And we're going to do this cakewalk style where I'm going to tell the kids to each stand on one spot marker. And I'm going to play one of our past songs that we've learned. And as I play that, I'm going to have them walk around in a circle, just trying to step on each spot and not on the carpet. And then when the song ends, I'm going to roll this dry erase die and say it lands on purple. Say, okay, who's standing on a purple spot marker? And whoever's standing on a purple one gets to try to answer the review question that I will ask. So I like to ask review questions on the fly just because it just works better for me than trying to prepare them ahead of time. So I might say, do you remember a place we learned in Africa so far? Or what's one of the helping verbs we've learned so far? So you can make up review questions that you think are appropriate for the level of the kids in your group. But then we'll do this again to a different review song. So maybe the first review song I chose was geography. Maybe I did the African Waters song. And so maybe now I will do a history song that we've done in the past couple weeks. And so I'll play that. They will walk around on the spot markers until the song stops. Then I will roll the die and say I roll a red. Anybody who's standing on a red spot marker will get to answer the review question this time. So that is review this week. So as promised, I want to share the memory work activities and games that you can do at home with your kids this week. These all go with the week 18 memory work. So this is the shapes game I made. This actually goes with week 16 through 20 because it has all the shapes on it and this dice. So you can roll it. Your kid can move to the next shape, whatever they rolled, so like rectangle. And then when they land on the rectangle, they try to say the area formula for a rectangle. So that is math. For English, I have my helping verb cards. I made a card with each helping verb and a sentence with the helping verb and a picture. So my daughter and I play Go Fish with these, but you could do lots of different things with them. For Latin, I have my Latin noun endings bingo game that you can play with your kids. It has all the noun endings on it. For science, I made this ocean floor color by number, and it includes weeks 18 and 19. So it includes the different types of ocean floor and the different ocean zones. For geography, I made another map with these regions, and it also includes the cities that will be in week 19. So I just thought it made sense to put them together since they're in the same area. Same idea, doing the dice game where the kids can roll a die and then whatever number they roll, they find the matching location. There's obviously more than 6 numbers, so they can roll 2 dice and find the sum and then find the matching location. So I have a key and just a map with the numbers as well. And I'll also include a map without the numbers in case you want a blank map, just to have as a resource. For history, I have a maze where the kids can connect the first part of the history sentence to the last part. And I believe that is it. So you can download all those for free from my blog. I will link below in the description where you can get those. Also, I have picture books that go along great with each week, starting at week 13 and then each week through the end of the semester. So check that out. I'll link that below in the description as well. Thanks so much for watching. If you are enjoying my videos, please subscribe to my channel and check out my Instagram where I like to post homeschooling ideas and things we do throughout the week. And check out my blog too, where I have all these ideas written out and lots of fun free resources for you. Thanks again for watching and have a great day.